Councilwoman Tracy Park, great to see you.
It's really good to see you too, Deb.
What has been the greatest challenges and the greatest accomplishments that you're most proud of? Tell us about how you've been for this last year.
There's a lot to unpack in that question. It has been the longest and shortest year of my life. I was sworn in December. We had one council meeting and then we were in recess, and I used that time to put together our new council office staff and to hire the team. And then we were back in council in January. That's really when we hit the ground running. And when you think back to where we were as a district in January, there were still large encampments everywhere. We were coming out of the election cycle, and there was still a lot of division within the district, a lot of communities, I think, in need of healing and new leadership. And so we had to start tackling the big issues right out of the gate early on. And you, of course, remember homelessness was top of mind and still is top of mind for constituents here on the West Side and all over the city. And so in January of last year, we were very fortunate to partner with Mayor Bass to bring Inside Safe right here to Venice. We did our very first operation where we cleared about 100 tents that were around the Venice Bridge Home. We housed about 150 people in that operation.
Was it from a specific encampment or?
Yes, around the Venice Bridge Home.
Where's the Venice Bridge Home?
On Main Street, right near Gold's Gym.
Right, okay, got it.
Yes, so we started there, and we worked out on Oceanfront Walk. We moved over to Del Rey, and we have continued those operations over the last 11 months. I've done 9 large-scale encampment interventions, and we have successfully now housed hundreds of people.
I want to ask you about how the community's relationship with law enforcement has changed, or what challenges continue to exist.
We work very closely with law enforcement. We consider them our partners in keeping our community safe. And, I have LEPD and neighborhood and community council meetings there, and overwhelmingly, people thank them for being there. And I know that they're appreciated.
Let's talk about the environmental issues of this district. It's a gorgeous district on the face of it. I mean, we've got these extraordinary beaches. We have one of the last functioning wetlands area in the greater Los Angeles area. How has your office addressed concerns around environmental protection? What projects are you most excited about? What challenges do you see?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think we have the most beautiful district in the city, but that's maybe just my CD11 bias. And I take the responsibility to be a good steward of our beautiful ocean and our coastline and our Santa Monica Mountains and our wetlands very seriously. One of the things I'm really proud of is the Jefferson Trail Rehabilitation Project.
What is that?
That we're doing along the Ballona Wetlands Freshwater Marsh right now. You'll remember that on Jefferson Boulevard, there was, about 3,000 feet of RVs that had been there in that encampment.
Sure.
They had done extensive environmental damage to the area. And, after the encampment was removed, we started our rehabilitation project. That walking path was badly damaged. There was a lot of litter and debris. Vegetation had been chopped down. The fencing has all been chopped down and removed. And so we have been out there with Friends of Ballona Wetlands, literally picking the trash up with our own hands. If you could have seen the condition of the asphalt where the vehicles had been parked, it looked almost like hundreds of little small electronic devices had just exploded everywhere. Bits of plastic and metal and wiring and thousands of cigarette butts everywhere. We actually had to bring in special street sweeping services to get all of that fine debris up out of the roadway, which I wanted to get done because we were about to get hit with a hurricane, Hurricane Hillary, and I didn't want that washing into the ocean. And one of the things that was heartbreaking to me over the summer, you remember we had the Algal Bloom.
Yes.
And the dolphins, the seals, and the sea lions were getting sick and dying from it.
Now, the algal bloom, which is caused by too much nitrogen in the water, that was throughout the Marina del Rey harbor? Or?
The entire Southern California region.
Okay.
This was the largest algal bloom that's ever been recorded here off of California. Yes, and so we
This
saw...
happened in the last year?
Yeah, this was just over the summer.
Okay.
And thousands of seals and sea lions were sick and stranding themselves up and down our shore. And so my team and I worked really closely with the Marine Mammal Care Center to set up recovery pens up and down the coast because their facility down in Long Beach, San Pedro area was completely full.
Okay, sort of related in that same general area, the 90 freeway. I don't know a whole lot of this. I only have seen the signs, keep the 90, and I'm very biased because I live in Inglewood now and I depend on the 90. So I'm like, wait, what are you going to do with the 90? How am I going to get to Venice? Washington and Jefferson are not always the best route. What's going on with that and where do you stand on that?
So there's an organization called Streets for All that has applied for a federal grant to study the potential of tearing the 90 freeway down and replacing it with a 4,000 unit housing development that would also have some park and open spaces to it. I don't know, maybe it's a great idea. I've seen the renderings of what it could look like. It looks really nice, but the reality is tens of thousands of people use the 90 freeway to commute into and through the west side of Los Angeles. I've spoken at length with Mayor Bass about it, and she withdrew her initial support of it as well after hearing from constituents, not just on the west side who are potentially going to be impacted by it, but constituents in other parts of the city that use the 90 freeway to come here. And so she's withdrawn her support of it. And I actually issued a formal letter from my council office to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg expressing my opposition to the concept.
Thank you so much for staying and talking with us today.
You're welcome, Dove. It's really good to sit down and see you again.